Welcome to the GameRamble video review for Shadowhand, narrated by me, Darkcloud. As always, the full text version of this review can be found on the GameRamble website linked below. The TLDR is that Shadowhand is another entertaining, addictive and polished solitaire-based game from Grey Alien Games, creators of the very enjoyable Regency Solitaire. It shares some similarities with its predecessor, but the story is brand new and the gameplay offers enough new additions and tweaks to ensure that it feels fresh. Luck plays a significant role in the game, which is unavoidable for the genre, but careful planning and using the right items can help a lot. This means the game is much more strategic than you might think, and we can heartily recommend it to fans of the genre. Gameplay receives a 9 out of 10. The solitaire-based gameplay is addictive as always, but the addition of duels and other elements makes it even better. Graphics receives an 8 out of 10. The art and design of the game looks great and everything feels very polished. Sound receives a 9 out of 10. Sadly there is no voice acting, but everything from the music to the sound effects is top notch. The overall score for Shadowhand is 8.7 out of 10. And now for the full review. After helping Bella to solitaire her way through romantic Regency England, Grey Alien Games returned with another addictive card game to help make your free time vanish. This time the setting is 18th century England, but you must help the protagonist get her hands a lot dirtier than Bella ever did. Shadowhand is advertised as a strategic RPG card game, but solitaire fans need not worry as it still forms the heart of the game. Lady Cornelia Darkmoor steps into the role of protagonist for this game, and things kick off with her and a companion ambushed in their carriage. With her dear friend kidnapped, Lady Cornelia takes on the mantle of a highwaywoman named Shadowhand to uncover what is happening. However, her search not only places her on the wrong side of the law, but also reveals a web of lies and deceit that stretches closer to home than she ever expected. Regency Solitaire cemented the fact that husband and wife duo Grey Alien Games knows how to make a solid and enjoyable card game. This meant that there was a lot of pressure on Shadowhand to not only offer a similar entertaining and addictive experience, but also to surpass it. Overall, this is something that they have managed to accomplish, but as with any card game that relies on luck, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Shadowhand challenges players with more than 150 levels that have been spread across 22 chapters. Each chapter is set in a different location and features different enemies to face. The game still features traditional solitaire levels, where your objective is to clear the board before depleting your stockpile of cards. Each level features a new layout, and obstacles such as locks, darkness and thorns are gradually introduced. So far, all of this will sound very familiar to fans of Regency Solitaire, but Shadowhand has a couple of new tricks up its sleeve. First up are the aforementioned enemies that crop up every now and then to try and stop you. These range from pirates to peasants, and each one comes armed to the teeth and ready to take you down. Luckily, your character can also be equipped with up to 2 weapons, as well as a range of outfits, gear and abilities. During duels, your goal is to decrease your opponent's health to 0, while preventing them from doing the same to you. You do this by taking turns clearing the playing field of cards, charging your weapons, activating appropriate abilities, and using the gear you selected beforehand. As with all solitaire-based games, luck still plays a big role in these battles, and you can sway things in your favor by planning ahead, equipping the right stuff, and making good use of your abilities. For players allergic to struggling, the game also has a relaxed mode, where enemies are weaker and duels can be skipped. On the other hand, for players who like a challenge and enjoy spending time carefully planning their loadout for the next battle, there's also a very hard mode that features more formidable enemies. Most players will want to stick to normal mode for the initial playthrough though, as it offers a decent challenge without being too unfair. Shadowhand is still a single player solitaire based card game, but there are a couple of things that differentiate it from Regency Solitaire. Apart from the previously mentioned duels, the game only makes use of cards numbered from 0 to 9. This means there are no jacks, queens, kings or aces to deal with. Jokers and spare cards can still be uncovered while playing though, and then saved up for later use. While playing you'll also earn gold, which can be used to purchase goodies between levels. Many hats, masks, coats, shirts, belts, pants, shoes and weapons that you can use are rewarded as loot when completing levels, while others can be bought with your gold. The same goes for the gear cards that you can use during duels, although these have to be replaced with new ones after using them. The nice thing about the outfits in this game is that they not only visibly change your character's appearance, but also bestow different types of bonuses. For example, if you know that you'll be facing a tough opponent where taking your turn first could be a considerable advantage, opting for items with a stealth bonus is a good idea. The same goes for weapons, as some enemies may be more susceptible to being stunned or bleeding than others, so it pays to have the right weapon for the job. You can only take 3 or 4 gear items into battle with you, so picking the right ones can really turn the tide in your favor. It's also nice to have different options for how you want to take down your opponents. For example, some players may favor using a belladonna grenade to slow down the weapon charging of their opponent. In contrast, others may go for a more aggressive approach by using a snuff bomb to weaken the defenses of their rival and then hitting them with everything they have. Gear can also be consumables like food and drink to restore your health, cure poison or halt bleeding, so be sure to pick wisely. If all of this wasn't enough, the game also features active and passive abilities that can be unlocked and equipped. We love the Charging Stallion active ability that removes 2 random cards from the board, as it can make a big difference on some of the more restrictive levels. The Shadowhand ability to shuffle all the cards in the playing field is also convenient. Active abilities must be charged by successfully removing cards from the board, so they are best saved for when you need them. Passive abilities on the other hand kick in automatically when equipped, and could be anything from Owl Vision to reveal face down special cards under your cursor, to the Hangman's Rope for removing 2 random playable cards at the start of each hand. Furthermore, your character earns new ability points as you progress through the game, which can be used to increase the stats of things like Guile, Finesse, Prosperity and more. Each point you add to an ability improves the chances they have of bestowing their advantages, such as increasing the odds of finding jokers and spare cards, drawing better stock cards, uncovering more gold, and much more. Overall, the gameplay of Shadowhand is as solid and addictive as Regency Solitaire. It's a lot of fun, unless you really can't deal with the big role that random number generation plays. Even then, the relaxed mode will ensure you can get through the game and experience the whole story without struggling. In terms of visuals, the game looks good and features plenty of different backdrops as well as interesting characters. Chapters take place on backdrops like a masquerade ball, smuggler's bay, library marsh, etc. It's nice to see the look of your character change based on the outfits you choose for her, right down to wearing a fake beard if you wish. You can also turn the blood on or off in the game, depending on how savage you want the duels to be. The user interface is also straightforward and intuitive, so you can focus on your strategy. Shadowhand features music, ambient sound and sound effects, and you can adjust the volume for all of these independently. The music is really good and fits the story's mood, and the same can be said about the sound effects. It's a pity the game doesn't feature any voice acting, but this is quite understandable considering the size of the team making it. A lot more can be said about Shadowhand, but this review is already getting too lengthy. Suffice it to say it's a very worthy follow-up to Regency Solitaire, and kudos to Grey Alien Games for not just simply rehashing the same formula, but making an effort to create a new experience. The basics of the game might be very similar, but it has a lot more depth, and the duels add some extra excitement. It took us about 18 hours to complete the story mode on normal, but even afterwards the urge to go back and play around with the stats to improve our odds for some of the harder battles was strong. There is something very satisfying about clearing out a level and earning this coveted 3 stars, or completing a duel by landing a hefty overkill on your opponent. Ultimately, we enjoyed our time with Shadowhand, and it definitely offers a lot of bang for your buck. It's not without frustration, but there's always the feeling that Lady Luck might just glance in your direction if you tried one more time. Thanks for joining me for this Shadowhand PC review. Remember to like, subscribe and share. Until next time.